So the first time I traveled alone, I was 20 years old. I backpacked around Europe, visited about 6 countries. There was no Google Maps at that time, no Uber, no phones, no cell phones. Fast forward to today. 20 years later, I'm in Bogota, the capital of Colombia, where I moved in October 2021 on my own. I've learned some lessons, some very important lessons throughout the years, and I want to share them with you today. Ready? Go. First thing is where to sleep. When you're traveling on your own, it's cheaper if you, of course, don't book a room, a single room in a hotel. So there are many different options nowadays. A good way when you're traveling alone is to stay at hostels. You might know this, obvious, right? But yeah, stay in hostels, share a room with 4 people, perhaps 5. Some people like to share a room with 10, 20 people. I didn't like that. So I used to book rooms with up to 3 other people, or depending on the price difference, I would book a single room, a very small single room just for me. But staying in a hostel will help you meet different people, just like you, who are traveling on their own and who might be in the rooftop bar of the hotel, and you just go talk to them. They're usually open to meeting new people, getting around. I made friends, a lot of friends like that, in Buenos Aires, in Moscow, in so many cities, and they're just people who are there open to tomorrow, do you want to go on a tour together? Let's go together. So that's a very good way. Also, a lot of hostels nowadays, in the past years, they also have capsule hotels, which, as I said, is a bit more private. You have your own capsule. I think that you've seen that before. If not, I'll put some pictures here for you to understand what I'm talking about. And it's also inside hostels, so then you can have a bit more privacy, on your own, and still save money when traveling. Also, Airbnb, instead of renting a whole apartment, a whole house, rent a room, and sometimes it's cheap. It's a cheaper option. The only problem with the Airbnb is the taxes, the service fee, cleaning fee. It will add up. So compare prices before booking a place. And some people like Couchsurfing. I don't know if you heard about it, but Couchsurfing is a good way where you can stay for free at locals' houses, and sometimes they have a couch, sometimes they have a bedroom just for you. So it's also a good way. Just again, be careful with that. Read the reviews. Try to stay with people who are verified, because that might also be tricky. Okay, and even if you don't stay at Couchsurfing, that's actually the second hack. Is use Couchsurfing to meet people. So now Couchsurfing has a feature that you see other travelers in your same location. Chat with them before going on the trip. Say, hey, what are you gonna do? Do you want to go on tours together? Do you want to just have someone to hang out with you while you're there? Also, other people who are not, who don't have a couch available, to host, they're also free if you want to just hang out with them, and it's great that you're gonna meet someone, a local, and you're gonna hang out, and you're gonna have someone to hang out with. Another thing that you can do when you're traveling on your own is I checked TripAdvisor. Okay, on TripAdvisor, when I was in Hanoi, Vietnam, I was on my own, and on the first two days, I went on 2 tours. One was a free walking tour, based on tips. You just tip at the end. I met a lot of people on that tour, made some friends, and on the other days I went out with them. And on the first evening, I paid for a food tour. It was cheap. We tried, I think, 7 or 8 dishes. And I also met this really incredible couple from Sweden. And on the following days, we also went out for drinks. We went out and visited other places in the city. So it's a good way to meet people who are traveling on their own, like you, and just, hang out with them. There's also another website. I've never used it, but I read about it. It's called Show You Around, where you can pay for someone local to show you around, have a buddy there to show the city, and you can read the profile, you can see where the person can go with you and places that he or she can show you. So it's also a good way. And the other option is Airbnb Experience. So it works out the same way as Show You Around, but you go on tours. Sometimes you learn how to cook a local dish. Other times it can be like an Instagram tour where somebody who's like an amateur or professional photographer will go around with you in the historic center, showing you the places, telling the story, but also taking pictures for you. So there are a lot of great options. I highly recommend Airbnb Experience if you're traveling on your own as well. And also a lot of cities have free walking tours. A lot of, the bigger cities that you go to, they have free walking tours. I did one in my first week here in Bogota, and I also met people. A lot of them are just like traveling for a couple of days perhaps, but I also met one guy from the US who has been here for I think 2 or 3 months now, and we just became friends. And sometimes we go out, we go for dinner and stuff like that. And these free walking tours are based on tips, as I already mentioned. But yeah, just Google free walking tour in the city, and you'll find a lot of options. Now, the last 2 tips I'm gonna give you are not very common, but well, it's an option. You can go on dating apps when you get to a place, if you are of course single, and just meet up with people at the place, and write on your profile that you're new to the place and you want to go on dates, or if you don't want to go on dates but you just want to go and meet some people who are nice, who are gonna show you around and stuff like that. It's tricky because dating apps, it's like a different culture. You don't know how it works perhaps at the beginning, so be careful with that. Of course, meet at public places. Be careful if you go for drinks, what you're drinking, because I've heard bad stories as well. So that's something that, like, watch out. But it can also be a very interesting experience, like to meet people on these dating apps and just, perhaps make friends and also go on dates. And the last one is what I did before I came here to Colombia, to Bogota. I wanted to improve my Spanish. I'm still improving my Spanish. And before coming here, I went on italki.com, and I found 2 Colombian teachers. So we had 3 months of classes online. And when I got here, my teacher who lives here in Bogota picked me up at the airport, showed me around. I went to his house, met his family, and met his friends. We are great friends today. So that was something like amazing. And of course, I was learning the language before, with him. So it's also an idea. I don't know. Perhaps you don't want to learn, Vietnamese when you go to Vietnam, like I did. I didn't want to learn the language, but perhaps you can have like 2, 3, 5 lessons for like survival Vietnamese, and then you end up meeting someone, and you say, hey, let's go out. Would you like to meet up when I'm there? And that's also another possibility. Now, what other hacks do you have that I forgot to put here on the list? Please let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll make a second video with more hacks for solo travelers. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.